Hey guys, Ops King here with my friend Lynx.
Hey guys.
So it's been a bit because of life stuff. Um,
Yeah, school is finishing, so
yeah,
I'm getting a lot of stuff.
a lot of stuff is happening. Um, so today we're gonna be talking about the Guardians of Galaxy Holiday Special.
Yeah, because William hasn't seen Black Panther because he's
Yes.
racist.
No.
You said yes.
I was in the process of saying yes as you said that. I thought you were just gonna say, "Oh, because you haven't seen Black Panther." Then you just went,
It's confirmed. That's why he was so adamant about gingers.
"Yeah, I've been
The-
exposed." Nah, you see, I can't be
William.
racist because I'm Hispanic. Can't happen. It's not how it works, Lincoln.
But the Hispanic people fight the African people and
What you're talking about? I would obviously go to watch it to
and
embrace
Wakanda
that
forever.
culture.
I don't know.
I really need to see it though. I think I'll see it Tuesday.
Yes, that was perfect. Well, before we get started, I don't know. I have a trivia question.
All right.
So, what year was the first World Cup held?
Oh my gosh. I don't know, like 1967.
It was July 13th, 1930.
It's held every like 4 years, right?
I think so.
Yeah. There's only been like I think like 21 years, right?
Ah, gosh. 70. It's 90. Wow. Math is not my thing right now.
How many countries have won?
Is it 22, 23 years?
So Brazil has won 5 times. They're the only team to have played in every tournament.
Wow.
See here. Hmm. 1930, 2018. So let's see. Brazil has 5. Germany has 4. So that's 9. Italy has 4. So that's 13. Uruguay has 2. So that's 15.
Uruguay?
Uruguay.
Okay.
You know, like the South
Yeah, yeah,
American
yeah.
country. Yeah.
I thought it was pronounced differently.
I don't know.
You're the Hispanic expert, so.
Yeah. We all just know
So you
because we're
know
all the
different.
same, huh?
No,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm saying.
Who's the real racist? Huh?
You? Yes.
Um, so let's see, 15 plus 2 from Argentina, because Argentina's won twice. 17 plus 2 more from France. 19 plus England, and then plus Spain. They each have won one. So it's like 21. And this is the 22nd. Yeah. So we're doing the 22nd World Cup now, I guess. Mm.
Pretty sure it's not 23rd.
I don't know how to count. What are you talking about? I'm a history major. It could be 23. I have no idea. I might have miscounted when I was laughing. Is it plus 4?
Yeah, you're right. The 22nd.
Two.
You could have
See,
just looked up what World Cup is going on right now, like I did.
yeah, but like surprisingly basic math, I just show up, man.
Well, I
Yeah, Lincoln over
90.
here does a lot of math, a lot of high grade math, and I found out how to calculate something faster than him one time, and like nearly perfect first try, and he was just kind of like, "Wow, you're amazing, William. You're
Well,
awesome."
it's been 90. Yes, that did happen. True story. 92 years, right? Divided by 4, that's 23. When did they skip one?
I don't know, because let's see. Well, yeah, it's 92 years. Maybe they just took an extended thing one time when like when COVID had no, never mind. Has nothing to do with it because 4 year period.
1942 was skipped.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's
It's not
cool.
cool. Well, just the history, like I didn't realize.
Yeah, if the whole world is at war, they can't do the World Cup.
I guess not. But I guess let's get right in. Or actually, what question? Question of the week. What team are you guys rooting for the World Cup?
I really want USA to actually do something in soccer for
Yes.
once. But like because of the meme, I also want Japan to do well.
I think I want USA to do well, but Brazil, if not.
Yeah.
But let us know who you're rooting for. So I guess we're gonna talk about this weird holiday special.
Yeah. First thing I have to say is Groot. What happened, bro?
I don't know, he's just buff. But
Like that's not even. Yeah.
there's gonna be spoilers.
Oh,
And
it's
also,
spoilers.
William, do you think this is something that's essential to watch?
I think it's going to be for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
I I don't know.
Unless they rehash what they introduced, which they very
Yeah,
well might.
should you watch this for Christmas?
No.
No,
I wouldn't.
I don't think so either.
It's not really all that good, but there was like some moments that I was like, oh, that's cool.
Uh, I really liked seeing Cosmo.
Yeah, that was nice. Whole Russian. I didn't know Cosmo was a girl then,
I didn't realize that either, actually.
but it's nice to see Cosmo.
The
That might
music in it
change. Yeah,
was actually like the beginning song. I might actually download.
like the Santa Claus.
Yeah, where it's like
Yeah, I was like, yo, this
Mrs.
is actually
Claus
really
on
good.
the pole or something. That part.
Yeah, for his
Gosh,
demise or something like that. That was good.
that was a good song. I actually really like that.
What band is that? 'Cause I think that's like an actual band that they just made look like aliens.
Let me look. Uh,
Just had that feel to it.
Galaxy Holiday Special soundtrack.
Oh yeah, it's Christmas time, not 2 words.
What do you mean?
So like, the saying, oh, it's Christmas time? I thought Christmas time was 2 words, but then watching this special, I had subtitles on, and every time Christmas time was said, it was one word, and I was like, "What?" And then I look up the song. I guess the name of the song is "Here It Is Christmas Time" or something like that, or I don't know what. No, I don't know what Christmas is, but Christmas time is here, but it's like one word. I don't know if they did that because the aliens don't know Christmas time, or if that's just like actually how it's spelled, like one word.
Um, I don't know either. It's a band called Old 97s.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a good song though.
I don't know any of their songs really, I don't think.
Gonna get
But
copyrighted, but
yeah, that was
Chris Pratt kind of looking a little bit larger.
I agree. I thought the same thing.
I was like, man, he's kind of big. Also, I guess he's just like sad boy depressed right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but they bought the Nowhere from the Collector for some reason.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty big information, I think. But
And then
like,
also,
wasn't the collector like dead or something? Didn't Thanos like kill him?
I have no clue.
I
I don't
guess
think.
maybe he was dead, but he was like, no, I don't even know. We didn't even know what happened to the collector, right?
Yeah, I guess he's alive and just sold the planet to the Guardians.
I didn't even know he owned the planet though. Like, I thought he was just like a big guy on it.
I thought I knew that for some reason. But yeah, Mantis being Star Lord's sister as well.
Pretty big.
That's interesting. Kevin Bacon is Kevin Bacon in the MCU.
Yeah,
That's kind of
which
funny.
means all those movies are for sure, like in the movie, like are in the universe.
Batman exists in the Marvel the MCU universe for some reason. Like his comics do. Or the
Yeah.
movies. I don't know, that was a little weird that they said that.
But it sounds pretty
On the
good though.
third planet closest to the sun, there's a special celebration, and it sounds quite fun. A jolly old fellow brings toys to everyone.
Yeah, we're gonna get copyright.
Holiday they call Christmas. That's perfect. Good.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, you did good. And then just goes hard, bro.
Yeah, this was just like a fever dream in my opinion. Like just this whole thing was
Yeah,
just kind of weird. Like you had Buff Groot.
Drax's cousin got killed by a GoBot.
Really?
They said that. Whenever when he was beating off that GoBot, Mantis is like, sorry, like she was like trying to keep him away. Sorry, a GoBot
Oh
killed his
yes.
cousin, and then she's like,
That-
"Stop being a bigot," because all GoBots are. He like kills this guy. Like you see him just beat him up.
Yeah, it's really weird. And then for some reason they had an underlying narrative that people in Hollywood are not stuck up.
It was weird. They kept saying like, "Oh, I guess this actor doesn't suck." It was different wording, but also Mantis like jumped a guy who looked like Captain America for some reason. Like jumped on and hugged him, which like were they that close? Did
No,
they
but
interact at all?
I think just Captain America is cool, perhaps.
Captain America's an old man.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a weird.
It will put dung in your songs.
Yep.
Yeah, he just looked weird.
He did look weird, but I think he was supposed to look a little weird.
Yeah, like he's just a sad guy.
But I would have loved to see more Peter Quill. I think he's the best part of the Guardians right now.
Yeah, he kind of was on the back. So was Rocket.
I know Rocket is so cool as well. Like the two characters I don't really like they put in this movie or this holiday special.
I like Mantis better, I think, because of this. Drax was kind of just the usual thing, but like he's even more dumb. I always forget that's Batista. Like completely different. Like he acts completely different. You know?
Mm-hmm. But
that's not how Batista acts. WWE.
This was just, I don't know. It was just weird. I was like, hey, Mom, Dad, because my mom loves the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's like her favorite MCU movie is Guardians of the Galaxy. And she was like, yeah, this is weird. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Creepy elves to do his every wish.
But now we know where. I don't know. It was kind of cool with the cartoon part with Yondu and Peter Quill.
Yeah, you know, what's his name? Kragan? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
His head is actually disgusting.
What do you mean?
You see his skin, like, oh my gosh. Okay, let's see. Does he show up at all in this song? Here we go. Let's see here. Is he at all in this? Yeah, here we go. Ew.
Yeah, I see what you mean, I guess.
That is gross. That is so gross.
But
like that upset me. I was like, that's so gross.
One thing I really don't like is that they really haven't done anything with Peter Quill's blasters.
Well,
because Star-Lord has special blasters.
Yeah, I mean they made it so Yondu gave it to him.
Yeah, but they have special things. I can't remember what exactly. That part.
I feel like that's U.S. Agent Captain America also. Wait, let me go back. No, that's regular Captain. Captain Jack Sparrow exists in the MCU, confirmed.
I guess so.
Which means Johnny Depp's trial also exists, confirmed.
It's weird that they would put Captain Jack Sparrow
in a Disney thing right now.
Which because he's already turned down Disney. He's like, no, I'm not working with you. Like
I think he's maybe going to.
Oh really?
I think from the last thing I saw, it's still like what's her face? Decided to leave the project.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah. At least I'm pretty sure she left it. Let me fact check myself.
Like I'm pretty sure Star Wars.
She said her Pirates of the Caribbean spinoff isn't happening.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it got canceled.
But don't Star-Lord's weapons like launch like elemental things or something? I don't know.
I don't. Guardians of the Galaxy isn't really in my purview of comic stuff. so I don't.
Me neither. But this is just a little strange. It's like, huh? It was definitely not as good as Werewolf by Night.
Oh yeah, there's like the GoBot. At
And
first, I was like, "Oh, is that a Transformer or something?" And then they said GoBot, so I was very disappointed.
I also not a huge fan of this in general because Hollywood is disgusting. If you actually go in real life, like there's actually people like shooting up drugs on the side of the street, and I hate how they're like, "Yeah, Hollywood is nice," because it's not.
It's very much not. There he is beating him up.
I just don't know why this needed to happen.
Then they got super drunk, and then she said, "Homies." And then Kevin Bacon. What movie is this? I forgot what movie this is.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a whole thing where like Santa Claus goes into space, abducted by aliens. I forgot what the movie is. It's old. Oh my gosh. I guess it's not that important, but
Is it Santa Claus Conquers the Martians?
I very well could be. I have no idea.
I just looked up. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Then he break into Kevin Bacon's house and almost kill police officers. So that's yeah. Then she, brainwashes Kevin Bacon. And who do you think bought all that stuff? Huh?
Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon uses
Th-
his
this was
finite
just
resources.
this is just really strange. It's like why Buff Groot?
Yeah, I was about to say I wanted to pause when I get a good look at him. Oh, sad. This is the evolution. Sad Quill, Buff Groot. Why?
I don't know.
It doesn't like they don't explain it. What phase of existence is this? What Groot's supposed to look like? And the Groot that we saw in the first movie is like old man Groot.
I don't know.
Because I'm trying to understand why he's like this. I guess like what he's like the mayor or something.
Yeah,
Like I don't know. Straight up kidnapped a This is human trafficking. That was funny.
that was funny. All the parts with Peter Quill were pretty good, I thought.
Ta-da! You must be Pete. What'd you do?
What?
What did you do?
We got you Kevin Bacon as
Like,
a present?
You got
if he would have just been in it more, I feel like this would have just been so much better. You know?
Yeah.
Or Rocket. Him and Rocket, I feel like, really carry the Guardians.
Ah! That's a talking.
I don't know.
was like, that's a talking raccoon.
He's like, we're not gonna hurt you. And he's like, is that a talking raccoon? He's like, I'm gonna kill you. That was funny. I don't know.
Buff Groot, man.
Am I gonna watch this every Christmas? Definitely not.
No. Definitely not Passion of the Christ material.
Or Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, Hawkeye is a good Christmas. Oh gosh, has that been a year already?
Yeah, basically.
Oh my gosh! Wow!
I don't know.
Whoa! If that whoa! Wait a minute! Wow! Okay. Wow!
Raccoon. I'll kill you. Don't ever.
I'll kill you.
What?
And then what's her face? Nebula points a gun in his face.
I don't know. The Guardians.
He Gold Rocket, a raccoon, went back, like recoiled from the raccoon trying to kill him, right? And she pulls a gun on him.
I don't know. Nebula is a weird character.
I think Nebula now is like actually really close with Rocket because of what happened.
Yeah.
And that's like because they're the only ones who survived.
Yeah, I don't know. This
Wait,
whole
which
thing just
Nebula is this? Wait a minute.
This was
I don't.
the one from our timeline.
Okay, what happened to the other one in Gamora?
I imagine they got destroyed.
They got I don't destroyed.
By the TVA.
Oh, yeah, probably actually.
That's why Will is depressed.
But like they don't even know what the TVA though. And TVA like supposed to delete like basically the world.
I don't know. I don't think they're around. I don't know if. I really don't know what happened.
Oh, why? Why did they do this? Just have it on your head. What is that? It's so gross. It's so lumpy.
I know this must all be a shock to you, but
James Gunn, what did you do to your brother?
That's James Gunn's brother.
Yeah,
What?
pretty
I
sure.
didn't realize that.
Okay, I'm gonna fact check myself again.
I think you're right.
Yeah, Sean Gunn. Dang, there's a lot of brothers. Holy crap, there's like 5 of them.
James Gunn wrote this too. That's so weird.
down for dancing. You taught him how to be a hero.
All right. Well, I guess we can move on to something.
Yeah, this was even weirder.
Yeah. I don't know. I was like,
So
I feel like
they,
this
yeah,
is. I guess we'll talk about this a little bit more. Even though Hollywood, they were like going for this whole thing where like Hollywood's not all bad. I feel like it made Hollywood look really bad. I don't know.
yeah,
Because it was like Hollywood really does not understand Christmas at all. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
That's what it felt like. Did it not?
No, I definitely felt like out of touch in a lot of areas. They made it in universe that the only reason why Peter won, or like the only reason why Ronan lost was because of Kevin Bacon.
I did like that. But
Kevin Bacon saved the universe.
I don't know. This was a little out of touch and it felt weird.
So what would you rate it?
A 5.
Yeah, probably 5. Though I could definitely see why someone would want to make it lower.
I agreed. Did I hate watching it? No. Was it?
I kind of at certain parts I definitely did.
Would I watch it
Like,
again?
why?
Probably not. So like a
No.
4 or 5. I don't know. It was just very bad.
Yeah. It was special.
It was special. Not a Werewolf by Night for sure.
Yeah. Werewolf by Night is as the kids put it, built different.
As the kids put it, built different. Yeah, for sure. So, William,
Yes.
do you want to talk about D&D?
Yes. Let's talk about D&D. Probably just some more stories and such. It's been a minute since we've talked about it, and I don't know, probably new experiences have occurred. Because the last time we talked about it was like we only had been doing my campaign for like a month or two, right?
Yeah. Um. So, do you have any advice to DMs looking for players?
Oh, yes, that's a whole thing. Um,
I
so,
thought that was very fitting.
so at one point, one of my players had to go for a bit. I'm sure they'll be back soon. Um, but we were like, oh, let's get a new person, kind of fill the spot when our other person comes back. We'll just be one group, like one size bigger. Turns out we're probably not going to be one size bigger. We'll probably be original numbers, just different things. But in any case, when searching for people, I used Discord, which Discord has a lot of iffy people on it. But there's tons of D&D servers, and it's a good place for people to connect if you're not gonna play in person. I mean, you could do video, D&D, where it's like, basically you guys can see each other's faces and stuff like that. That's the way you could do it. You could do it voice only, which is how I run it. Or heck, people do text games, which I don't know, that doesn't really seem all that appealing to me, but people do it. You can find all types of players, all types of interests of different campaigns. It's easy to kind of find a group. To find specific players that are going to fit with your group is harder, in my opinion, because the vetting process is something you have to do. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just D&D. Why do I need to vet?" Because if someone doesn't go with the flow of your players, or you think like, if you just say, "Oh, sure, you join," and they just do not like do well with your group, you gotta probably get rid of them because you gotta prioritize your players that have been here more than the other. You gotta have some questions, make sure they're able to fit your schedule, make sure they're gonna fit your kind of DMing style, and also just kind of what personality you have. And something that helps is if you are doing this in voice or video, have like a one-on-one meeting with them and see like kind of if they're actually how they sound through text, or if you make sure you're understanding it. Because otherwise you could have some issues with that.
What do you
Our
think?
newer, yeah.
So what happened the first few times you tried to grab someone?
Well, when I was originally first putting my group together, I think it went pretty well. I had some people like Lincoln and another friend that were interested in playing it, and then I had other people that were new to it. Um, and that went well. When I was trying to find a new player, um, a lot of it came from inconsistency with scheduling. Um, and it didn't feel like they cared enough to actually be part of the game. Because a few times, this happened twice. Once, the person said they were interested in it. I vetted them. They made their character. They were ready to play, and then I think they just blocked me randomly, which is weird. I don't still know why that happened. Um, second thing, the second time, I was like, okay, I'll do two people this time. I feel like these two people here are going to be interesting to play with. One of them had apparently a death in the family, and I was like, okay, that's understandable. And they just were never really responding, which is understandable because of the situation. And I was like, okay, um, seems like you got a lot going on. If it ever works out, you can message me or something, but I'm gonna move on. Then the second person was a new person, like a completely new player to D&D. They were more thinking D&D was like Dark Souls, which was interesting. And I was gonna, to help them understand D&D more. They seem pretty cool. Me and Lincoln actually both talked to them.
Yeah,
But it just ended up not working with their scheduling again because I had a lot going on. And it didn't seem like this was too much of a commitment, is what it seemed like. Because it is a commitment to, almost every week come in, play this game. It's a lot of fun to do. But I think for someone who's especially new, they don't see it as that much. So then when I got the person that ended up joining, they mentioned to me in message how they see it as a commitment, and I was like, okay, I like that. And they joined. They've been there for 2 sessions so far.
they've been really
And
good.
they've been really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess would you say go for someone who seems really committed over
Well,
anything?
it definitely depends how serious your campaign is. If you're doing
Yeah,
kind of a loose thing where it's like, oh, we just whenever everyone's available, you throw it together, then you could do it differently. If you're kind of a thing where it's like every week we're meeting, we're doing this thing, um, and they're just not if they don't have the commitment or the time to do it, or they think they do, then when you actually start like planning and everything, you're like, okay, this doesn't work. That'll be an issue. So you have to make sure that they're committed and able to do the like at least the minimal for joining the campaign.
for sure. I don't know. It's definitely an experience. As you were telling me what you went through with everyone, I was like, huh, this is very interesting.
Yeah, it was a lot easier the first time. I guess I just got lucky with getting everyone. Um, but this is actually a good time to ask you about what you think of. Could you describe my DMing style?
Terrible.
Oh gosh,
With the iron fist by the
I'm
book.
killing your character. You shouldn't have
Yeah,
said that.
that's exactly what I mean. Uh, no, I definitely think William has a really good DMing style. Very very expressive with characters, which I think is very important. Very go with the flow, but also has structure. Um, so William's big thing is NPCs. I think that's the best. Like what he's the best at is like making NPCs for the world, so the world feels like real. It gives us stakes. The NPCs really are like the star of the campaign because the setting is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely it feels like a real world with real people at certain times.
That's definitely what I've heard from the other players. That's what's what I'm best at. And you missed last week's session, Lincoln. But there was, I think, some of the funniest NPC work I've done. You'll have to ask the others about it, but it was pretty funny what happened.
Yeah,
Um,
I definitely think that's what you're the best at, and it definitely shows. I think because I don't know.
one thing
It
that
it
I do,
gives
yeah,
stakes. One thing, William's style is not very. So, from what I understand, because this is my first campaign, William's style is not the type where it's like go into a tavern and here is 3 quests you can complete. You know, it's very like okay,
more,
yes, this is a main objective, but if you guys want to go do this, that's fine.
yeah. I'm out railroading you guys.
Yeah. So like yes, there's obviously a main objective. He ties into the characters, but if you don't want to do that main objective, you can just be like, I'm good.
I always leave it open to where it's like, okay, so here are like your options. But if you wanted to, you could just like actually say screw everyone and go off and do something else if you wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think I do want to talk about the Halloween one shot.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a Halloween one shot, which I think it was a really good one shot. I thought because the ending ended up being good. But I want to talk about. But I want to talk about the dangers of homebrew items and guns and just home. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand what you're trying to say. So one player we don't have a problem player, but we do have a player that has certain tendencies that can be problematic.
Yes.
Um,
I like to kill everyone. I'm just playing.
yeah. No, basically, for this one shot, I was like, hey, everyone gets a gun. Everyone, you get a gun, you get a gun, you get a gun. Everyone chose bad news. Joke's on me. But the player also used a homebrew fighter class. I forget what it's called. But I allowed him to because I knew about it. And I was like, okay, it's a one shot. We're not really structuring it really hard. You can just have fun. And he was killing everything, which is like, I don't know what you think about that, Lincoln, but like, I had so many enemies for you guys to just kind of like kill as cannon fodder that I was like, yeah, that's fine. It may have seemed overpowered, which it was for sure, but like I wasn't stopping it. I was like, okay, you guys can be overpowered, you know?
Yeah.
What happened because he felt so powerful afterwards, he's the kind of person that succumbs to power, as in the sense of like he gets a big head when he thinks he's stronger than everyone, and he shows it. He started So I did set up the one shot to be like, oh, everyone's kind of competing and can kind of backstab each other. I definitely took some influence from Werewolf by Night, but I did put my own spin and twists on it. Um, and everyone was kind of like competing for this one thing. And his character was like, oh, um, are you? No, he just actually asked Lincoln and another player, hey, are you okay if I kill your player? And then the other player is like, I prefer you not to. And then Lincoln's like, you can do whatever you want. Because little did he know, I had orchestrated something with Lincoln to be the traitor of the one shot. And he was gonna later try to kill him. But Lincoln was like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to kill someone before I actually reveal myself. And it'd be justifiable.
And it was also a situation where it was like, yeah, he was definitely trying to kill me in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I had to stop him from metagaming quite a bit because he was trying to kill kill Lincoln's character. And what ended up happening was Lincoln had disguised himself as one of the enemies and was using the enemies to kind of get around and convince them and stuff like that. And he ended up kind of running into uh, the other player's character because he was metagaming going far south. And what ended up happening was he lost. And he was he started making death saves. Now, here's one thing. Maybe it's bad on me.
This is bad on me as well.
So, there's something I didn't tell you. So, he wanted to roll them privately, but I don't trust him. So, when he was doing that, I was like, I don't trust this at all. And I was like, realistically, what would the enemy do? So, he did make a save, which could have been an actual save, or he could have been cheating. I don't know. But I had the enemy attack him because there was no other enemies in sight. And he did, giving him a death save. And I forgot what you did, but I think you accidentally caused an explosion to happen.
I didn't stabilize him.
Oh yeah, you didn't stabilize him. Something else
But
happened.
I also
and he made another-
took him out.
Well, you like set it up to where like, okay, he was gonna die. And to stop, you actually tried to stop my character, not my character, my NPC from finishing him off, instead of stabilizing him. Because, I mean, even if you attempted to stabilize him, it might not have worked. But he ended up failing the death save, and then he left.
Yeah, and I guess what I want to say from this experience, what I've learned, if you're new to D&D, of course it's not the homebrew that was the problem entirely, but DMs, be careful with homebrew, because, homebrew is just sketch. It can get out of hand really quickly, because if you add this and then
Balancing
add that,
is hard.
yeah, balancing with homebrew. And then also, if you're a player and you're playing a character, follow through with what your player would do. Realistically, my player would have taken him out. But since I felt bad, I was like, okay, well, I'll, not take you out. I'll just, try to convince this guy. But ultimately, yes, it may cause some problems. But it shouldn't, because your character is not you.
Yeah.
It definitely depends on who you're playing with, right?
Yeah.
If they don't know you very well, then I wouldn't do anything like, I'm going to murder everyone. I'm not saying that at all. But,
I mean, you had known this guy for like 5 months at this
yeah, so, follow through with what your character is doing and make sure, don't feel bad about that, because it's not supposed to ruin your day. Maybe if it's like a main campaign, there's a little problem in that. But if you're doing a one shot and it's just a one-off thing, don't feel bad. Just continue with what your character is doing, especially if you and the DM have set up something.
The player was going to and would have killed Lincoln's character, but Lincoln instead kind of outmaneuvered him, and he ended up dying instead. And he was very hurt about it, which I do understand, but I don't like how he went about doing it, because he was saying he's very attached to his characters. He was willing to kill another person's character, got upset when his character died instead. Yeah, there's that phrase, if you're prepared to kill someone, you should also be prepared to die.
Yeah, and I think this is also, I'll explain what happened later in the thing, or in the one shot, but, just because it is a one shot, don't do anything so irrational. Because even though it may fit with your character to do something, don't make it to where, I murder 20 people randomly. Don't do something irrational, or don't say, I'm going to kill this person just because I can.
I mean, ultimately, it is still a game that you're playing with other people. It's not like there's always the type of player who says, oh, this is what my character would do. Why are you upset with me? Those people, not cool. There is a fine line between doing what your character would do within reason and not causing problems for everyone else. Then there's the one where it's like my character is gonna, I don't know, firebomb a hospital. And it's like, okay, bro.
Yeah.
You're literally trying to save this city. Why are you trying to blow up this hospital?
I
none of
will.
that.
Yeah, let me explain this a little bit more of the situation. So, the people who contracted us say whoever does this can get one wish, like, and it had a group, and so there was a little tension, like, in fighting, but he obviously was going to get the one wish already,
Your character,
right? No, not my character. The guy who was taking out everyone.
yeah.
So there would have been no reason to take out everyone, or like the party, because he would have been the one to get that. But what ended up happening is, eventually there was going to be a turn and there was going to be a big fight. So it didn't make sense for his character to do that exactly.
Yeah.
But what I am going to say is later on, it was me and another player, and this player ends up killing me. And he's like, bro, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't want that to happen. I'm like, dude, you're good. Like, this is okay. Like, I want you to win. I want you to have your moment. So, in a situation like that, don't feel bad for that, because it's completely understandable. Like, even though D&D is a game where it's like, yes, I want to do good and I want my character to be cool. Reach a level of understanding to where it's like everyone is in that position,
Yeah.
And you want, especially if you're playing with other people, you want other people to have cool moments. It can't just be you always having cool moments.
You're not the main character. It's the main
yeah, you're not.
characters.
For sure. And I think a great example of that is when Matt, if you watched Into the Blood Keep, or is that what it's called?
Yeah. The
with
D20 Lord of the Rings campaign. It's not really Lord of the Rings, but it's a spoof
yeah,
one shot it's a couple sessions that equal one shot of like a Lord of the Ring spoof.
yeah. Basically, one character didn't have good roles and was like, man, I'm just pathetic. But he made the most out of it through playing, and eventually had cool moments.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that's good about having failures is that you can embrace those and add that to like your character acting, where it's like, here's an example. In one campaign, I was in, my character, he had a nice +2 to animal handling, and he was all about the animals. Every single time I tried to get an animal to do something or like me, I failed. It was bad. So he's made it part of my character, like, okay, animals hate me, so I just hate them now. So, like, one person had a pet kitsune, which is like a fox thing, and um, at one point I tried to like pet it, animal handling, and I got like a nat 1, so it just bit me, like bit out my bracers, and I was like, okay, I hate this thing now. This is part of my character. My character hates this little thing. So like every once in a while I would do like a snide remark about the animal. And it was just like part of my character now. And that was fun.
Yeah, for sure. I think so I guess the advice I'm trying to give from this campaign: one, DMs, be careful with homebrew. It can be very unbalanced, which, not that it was in this situation, but when you add stuff that, I don't know, having the bad news was just the obvious choice, and it's like, oh, that kind of sucks. That's not a lot of fun.
Well, I mean,
If everybody,
I had set it up to where everyone could be overpowered with it. I wasn't.
Yeah,
In that case. I wasn't underestimating their power or anything. I understood it and was kind of like balancing it with that. It was supposed to be
yeah,
kind of one-sided.
for sure. I was just saying it can get out of hand. We realize, like, I feel like I realized at that moment, like, stuff can really get out of hand, if you were to pile it on. Which we haven't really had an amazing example of that, but I feel like that was just like a glimpse, It was like,
Yeah.
I feel like this could get out of hand if we, too, do what your character wants to do, but don't do it to hurt everyone else.
Yeah.
Basically, you're not the main character in the story, even though you might feel like you are. D&D is a game where you want everyone to have their moment. Everyone
It's a
is
team activity.
Yeah, you want your friend to, or maybe you want your party member to have a cool moment. Let your party member have a cool moment. That's something I'm not the best at. But that's also just my character I'm playing right now. Is just a jerk and doesn't want everybody else to have a cool moment.
Well, another thing I want to say is not even just balancing with homebrew, balancing in itself is very difficult. One thing that I think is probably my weakest as a DM, I think the RP side and story wise is where I excel. Where I don't do as well is kind of combat. I, of course, try to create epic situations, and I put a lot of effort into making enemies and the battlefield and all types of stuff. But the balancing is always an issue. I feel like the only time where I actually do well with it is whenever I do like a one shot boss fight or something. Those seem to be the best situations because usually during the campaign, it ends up kind of being a just drawn out cakewalk. Like it's a lot. That's why it's they have to do a lot, but it's kind of easy. So
I think with monsters, yes, you're not very good with balancing with monsters. But whenever we face like people, for some weird reason, you're really good at balancing that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because this is a level 5 NPC, this is a level 5 player character, have them fight. But that is something you're very good at, I think, when it comes to fighting people.
Yeah. Just one thing I got to work on is making fights more worthwhile and challenging because I feel like I'm always just prolonging a situation for you guys that isn't that exciting. Like with the couple session, it wasn't really a couple session, it was like the end of a session and then the rest of the next session. It's like, I guess it was a 5-hour combat, 5 or 6 hour combat.
Well, I also am notorious for ruining William's battles.
That's cool though. Like, it's always a fun time when your players can outsmart you or outmaneuver you in a way that you didn't expect it, and then you got to do stuff too.
Because William sets up this stuff, and I'm like, wait, a polar bear has a swimming speed, so I try to command it, and he's like, what the heck? I just have these moments where I'm just like, I don't know, I would hate me. And then also
that was good though, because I was like, oh, polar bears do have a swimming speed. Go ahead, like that's.
I feel like I'm always like, I turn off my mic and I'm just scheming, like, which is weird. It's weird that I'm one of those players. I'm not. I don't know. I'm a weird player. I'm not one where it's like, I want to do the most damage I possibly can. It's like, I want a cool moment to happen, or I want to try to.
Creative.
I want to try to do something William's not expecting. That's my that's my fun I have during combat. I'm like, I want to do something William did not expect me to do at all, which oftentimes I do, and it's probably pretty weird.
To be fair, I'm constantly scheming and surprising you guys myself.
This is true. But I've action surged and dropped an icicle on someone. Weird story. It's polar bear swim speed. I've
Old Croaker.
I've decided to take control of a frog. Also, that goes back to balancing items, I think.
No, but
It's like
I mean, that's fair because it is a balancing thing.
N-
But I was
n-
okay with that situation.
yeah, know who you're giving an item to.
Yeah, that's true. If it's a person that's gonna abuse it, then it could be an issue. But
And
as long as
also
he doesn't abuse stuff.
talk to your players. If you're playing, talk to your DM. Say, do you think this would be reasonable if my character did this? And your DM may say no. And I would say talk to your DM in private because, oftentimes your party members are like, oh, that would be so cool if that happened. And it just, peer pressure. So talk to your DM in private about stuff.
Well, you could DM them on the side or talk to them. Like with me, I'm not gonna get peer pressured with it. If you make a convincing argument, then I'll go for it. I'm not gonna stop. Like I have a rule of cool, you know. So if what
Yes.
you think is awesome, go ahead. I'm not gonna stop you. But if it's like something that just doesn't make any sense and you're just trying to like break the system, then I'm not gonna allow it.
Yeah.
One thing is, it's fair to make a point to your DM, not fair for yourself, your party members, or the DM to argue about something. Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, the DM is the one that decides the rulings. They are the one who chooses what happens.
Yeah,
Don't
which I feel
argue
like
about it, just waste time.
in general, in our campaigns, we joke around a lot. Like, Brian's like, I'm gonna break the, or sorry, I've probably, someone in our party is like, I'm gonna break the economy. And you're like, okay, well, you can sell this for this much. And we're like, no, I think it would be a higher price there or whatever. Like, as a joke, you can do that stuff as a joke. If you're a DM and you are cool like that, I definitely think. But yeah, definitely know your players and know if your player is a schemer, what they could get up to. For example, I'm a little bit of a schemer and I'm playing a divination wizard right now. That's a little bit of a weird situation because you can influence a lot of things that happen. So expect your players to, understand what they're playing and how they might play it. And that just comes with experience with playing with them. Of course, the first time you play with them, you're not going to know, oh, yeah, this person is someone who likes to get the highest damage they possibly can, or this person is someone who just loves to RP and try to influence stuff, or this person is just wants to ruin my day. You're not going to know that until you play, but as you play, understand the players' classes and anticipate what they might do, but also expect the unexpected based on what they have and what they have done.
Yeah. So one thing you should always do is have a session 0 where you discuss like, certain things, what everyone's playstyles are. I mean, even in recruiting, you could find out other people's playstyles and stuff like that. Have a session 0, discuss what kind of vibe you're going for with the game. That's always good to have. And as a DM, the number one thing you have to understand is all the work you put into it, you could throw it away at a moment's notice and go with it. Improv is something very important.
You're very good at that as well.
Yeah, I end up BSing so much stuff. Um,
And also do it. I'd say this is what you're really good at. Do it in a way where you don't know if they're where the players don't know whether it's improv or not.
yeah. I mean, one thing that had happened was, well, okay. With all the NPCs that they end up loving, my players, they all come from improv. Like an example, they took this bandit captive, and I was like, okay, I'll give him this personality, give him this name, and they loved him. They ended up making a deal with him, and I was just part of the group. Another one is another fan favorite is Lord Edwin Hammerdown. They had this pirate ship fight, and one of the players had an idea to investigate the lower decks, which I had not prepared for at all. Surprisingly, I usually am a lot of. You see, the reason why I'm able to improv easier is because I prepare a lot of things, so I can be like, okay, I don't know exactly what this is, but I know what information I want to get out, and I know what I want to kind of be revealed. So I kind of formulate around that. So I threw in Lord Edwin Hammerdown as a captive on the ship. Now it's a whole plot line, and there's a lot of
Doing a one shot in that area.
yeah. We're the next session we're going to be doing is a one shot in his area where he is away from the main campaign. And even just the last session, the players don't know this. Lincoln wasn't here, so I'm okay with saying this. I had prepared this village they're going into, but I didn't prepare any of the NPCs. I was like, okay, I'll just go with it on the fly, which you really shouldn't do, but I just was feeling that energy that night. So, three main NPCs that they encountered. One was a blacksmith, half orc. One was a half elf bartender, and one was the mayor, who was a human. The bartender had a Brooklyn accent, in New York. It was better than this, but I just kind of got into character, and jokes were had. One of the characters ended up drinking horse piss. Um, it was the whole thing. That was funny. With the blacksmith, they found it randomly. I just decided the blacksmith was really bad at his job, so I described all the nails in his little shack, and all of his swords were bent. Like he turned a long sword into a curved sword because of how bad he was. All the nails were bent into circles. Um, but I came up with the idea kind of on the fly that he's really bad at everything blacksmith related, but he's a really good goldsmith. And he was trained by this one master blacksmith in the capital of this country on this fly. Did that, and the characters interacting with him really loved him. And then they convinced him to join the group, so he's with them now. That's the whole thing. The mayor, um, that's a situation. I'm not gonna say it for Lincoln's sake here, but shenanigans were had. But you should always be prepared for improv if things go off the rails. Players you have, for me, I have only my mind. I can try to think about how they're going to think, set up situations for them that they might enjoy, prepare for the unexpected. But there is five of them. Five of their minds are different. They could go completely left field with whatever they want to do. One of them could be looking for a polar bear and walking down the water, and then you have an old friend from a different one shot pop in. That happens. Someone wants to steal something, they accidentally steal something important, stuff happens. You gotta be prepared, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's really, yeah. I never know. Sometimes I do, but we have this one player who never knows if William planned this or is improving at that moment. And I think that makes him really respect him a lot more because William is like, give me a second, let me look at my notes, and then, pull something out. And it really is like, oh man, he actually had this planned for us. And it makes you think like, yeah, it's like, wait, did he plan that? Like, how far ahead is he thinking? Which you may have players that are like, I want to test this. But then you're also going to have players where it's like, yeah, I'm going to respect that a little bit more,
Yeah. Whenever I guess my key phrase is, let me look at my notes, because I actually do have like 30 something pages of notes. So I do pull up my notes at certain points to look at them, because I'll have like certain answers and things like that. But I do it so often that they don't know if I'm improving or not. So
Yeah.
what's behind the DM screen is a mystery to everyone.
But I definitely think, there's a lot of things you need to know when you're playing D&D, or even if you've been playing for a while. I haven't been playing very long, but, try to get better at the game every time you play. I was recently talking to someone who DMs. That's not you, William. I found out someone at my work actually DMs. And I said, yeah, I just have a problem with RP. And they're like, next time you RP in third person. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, because it helps you get acclimated to the character and it makes you think, what would this character do? I was like, wow, it's very interesting. So, like, always try to push the limits on your abilities, because yes, there's a point where you're like gonna know a lot about D&D and probably play it very, very, very well, but you can still learn a lot every time you play.
Especially with rules. It's always
Yeah.
something. Another thing. So you mentioned third person. I really like using second person. What I mean by that is like you have first person where it's like, oh, I would do this. This is what, I'm gonna use your character's name as an example. This is what Percy would do. I would go sunbathing on the top of a destroyed building. And then the second person is like, what would he do? He would probably do this. My character would probably do that. Then there's third person. Percy would do this. This is what Percy would do.
Yeah.
Slight difference, but I like using second person a little bit more because I think about, oh, he would do this. Like he's another person.
Yeah, for sure. And thinking about it from a different perspective, I think definitely helps. I don't know. I'm still not very confident in my accents, but definitely test it, especially if you're in a one shot. I did one where I did a voice where I went that was just like super deep, and it was I don't know, it was just testing stuff. Would I want to do that for a whole campaign? No.
Yeah.
But
I mean, don't be afraid to experiment, especially if it's a one shot. And if it ends up not working out, you can be like, okay, guys, I was just trying that out. I don't like it. I didn't do it very well. I'm just going to talk regular for the rest of the session or something like that.
Yeah. So
And I have one last question for you, I guess, before we end this off. What's your favorite? Actually, it can be a multi-answered question.
favorite NPC.
What is, yes, that's one part of it.
You always ask this. You always ask this.
I want to know. But let me finish my question. What is your favorite NPC, and what moment gave you the most joy, or what moment gave you the most emotion? I guess.
Ooh. Gosh, there's been multiple. NPC. it's hard to pick. It's either Jerry or I feel like Jerry's kind of taken a back burner because one of our players is like really close to him, and then also he's like not playing as much. But also Edwin Hammerdown was also really good. Moment that made me the most emotional when playing. You know, either that huge boss fight in the one shot where we almost lost and then somehow we won, and
they will always be in my heart.
Yeah, like it was just one of those moments where it was like, man, we should have lost this, but together we won it, and it was perfect.
It's definitely one of those like, this is what D&D is.
Yeah, it was a moment where, of course, in some one shots where you have characters, players don't always coordinate properly, right? I would definitely say, but it was one of those moments where everyone was on the same page. Everybody knew what was going to happen. Everybody wanted everyone else to do something. Like, everyone wanted everyone else. Everyone knew what everyone else was going to do and followed accordingly. It's like we're laying it all out. You know, we're using all our spell slots. We're gonna probably die. It's okay, but I want at least one of us to win. And you know, we ended up all living, which is ridiculous. And that was probably the most like triumphant moment ever.
I really wish I had recorded it.
It was amazing.
Because that's something that's gonna. I wish I could just watch over and over again.
For sure. And then another one is a moment where William really screwed my character over. And basically my character lost everything that he'd worked for in the campaign thus far.
His lowest point.
And he just like went in the ocean and was just like depressed and was like, man, I really hate my life. And then, you know, something happened afterwards where the situation was fixed because weirdly William rolled a 100 on a D100 for some weird reason.
It was fate.
It was fate. But, you know, really feeling my character, it was probably when I got the most emotional, or when we said goodbye, that character left. Just like thinking, wow, you know, I imagine what this character is feeling at this moment. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, there's a lot more D&D stories that can be had, but I think that's enough for now. Overall, holiday special was cringe. D&D stories were told. I think we have a lot of fun with it. If you haven't played D&D, I definitely should try it out with someone you trust, because it is something where you can be very self-conscious. Like, you know, whenever the first time you're doing it, you're like, oh, am I doing this right? Is this a decent voice for my character? And
your experience can be ruined depending on who you're playing with.
If you're a DM and your party's like mean about it, like, oh, you suck, dude, why would you do that? It can be very bad. I think I helped Lincoln out a lot with that one shot that I did for him.
Yes, I definitely agree.
So, you know, you could have like a one-on-one one shot with your DM. Maybe that'll make you more comfortable. Or, you know, do whatever. Just make sure you're comfortable with the people you're playing with. Very important.
For sure.
All right.
Well, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next time.